Good morning, guys. Today the plan is to spend the day in the dahlias. There's a couple things I want to get done. One is to save seeds, and the other is to get these guys all labeled. The weather is turning. If you can't tell, it's gray and sort of raining, and that's not going to change anytime soon, and it's getting colder by the day. So I need to get the labels done because any point now from here through the middle of November, we could get a frost. And the minute you get a frost, you can no longer recognize what all these beauties look like. So getting them labeled is imperative. And I want to show you what I use and how I do that every year before there's a frost. And the other thing I want to do, like I said, was to save seeds. Now, some of you may remember that a few months ago, after I started to get blooms, my tree is raining. Some of you may remember a few months ago, I stopped cutting flowers from the two plants, one each of the cafe au lait and one of my labyrinth. The cafe au lait, because, well, she's beautiful, but she's also a really good seed producer, and I already know that, and I love the coloring that she has. So it'll be fun to see what mixes come through her seeds. And then the labyrinth, because it's my favorite dahlia by far. And I'm really curious. I know some of the seeds, or some of the plants that we grew from seed last year came from her and have similar coloring, but different shapes, which is super exciting. So those are the two things that I need to get done today while I have the time and the weather window to get it done. It's important. Okay, so let me show you first how I save seeds from a dahlia. It's going to be a little bit more difficult because it's so wet. It's been raining off and on for days, and everything out here has just, nothing is dry. So it'll be a little more difficult, but I'm going to show you how I do it. I use, and I just store everything in these little tiny paper bags, super simple. So let me go show you. Okay, this one is a cafe au lait plant. As you can see, I left all kinds of flowers on here so the seed heads had a chance to mature. So if you can see this one, this is precisely what I'm looking for. You can tell from the color that it's completely dried out as compared to this one, who just recently dropped its petals. It's green and damp. All of these are like that. Most of these here, but this one and this one look perfect. Same actually with this one. Oh goodness, that whole thing came out. Yeah, okay, so I'm gonna collect this one and this one. Then I just want to pull a couple of these leaves off, see if I can find a seed for you. Leaves, they're not leaves, they're petals. Okay, I know it's going to be difficult to see, but at the front end of these petals, where it attached to the flower, there's these little black seeds. Those are what you're looking for. And I'm going to put this whole seed head in my paper bag and let it dry the rest of the way out. And hopefully, if I'm lucky, I'll get a half a dozen or so out of each of these seed heads. And just keep them inside in a warm place, a warm, dry spot. I'm just going to go grab the other ones, and then I will show you how I label my dahlias before a frost. I'll take you guys along this winter when I pull the actual seeds out of the seed heads and get them planted. I'm looking forward to it. Every year it's a surprise. I'm going to label one or two of the dahlias that we started that way from seed last year. So you'll get another chance to look at some of the results from doing this. It's such a fun thing to do. It's a complete crapshoot on what you're going to get. You can try to increase your odds by selecting flowers that you like the shape or the color of, and there's a better chance that you'll get something that has similar characteristics. But you could pull a cafe au lait and you could produce a seed for a bright red ball type dahlia. You never really know. Although the open-centered dahlias are the easiest for the bees to get to, which means they pollinate a lot faster. And many times if you have open-centered dahlias in the same area as your other fancy varieties, the pollen will come from one of those open centers into your fancy dahlia, and you have a better chance generally to have open-centered dahlias. It's just the way it works. There's a lot more easily exposed pollen and the bees get to it faster and easier, so that tends to be what gets transferred to the other varieties. Okay, now that that's done, let's talk labeling. These dahlias, they're already starting to look kind of rough because it's the end of the season, but every single one of these guys, I need to have labeled for the minute that it frosts. When you get a hard frost, these guys turn just black and into mush, and you really can't tell what they are. I have done, at the front of each variety in these rows, I have this tag that says what each variety is. There's this one, the Sweet Natalie, goes for a few plants, and then it changes to a Coralie, and then it changes to a apple blossom, etc. down the way. But sometimes throughout the season, the labels will get kicked out, or I have moles that will dig them out, or dogs that like to pull them and run off with them. So I as much as I trust them, sometimes they don't, they're not still there by the end of the season. So I really like to do this before the flowers are gone. You can do this right away in the early season after they sprout, or you can do it anytime. Personally, I like to do it when they're blooming, so that for sure I know that I'm not mislabeling something. So I will take this plant right here. They said Sweet Natalie, and it looks like this is the flower, but this is not. This is a sun-kissed. That's on the other side of this row because there's just a huge plant. But I can see this is a Sweet Natalie. Aren't they beautiful? I love them. So I will find the flower, follow it down to the stem, and then put one of our tags on it. I use flagger's tape because it's bright pink, easy to see, especially when I'm just hacking away and cutting back foliage. I'll be able to see these. And then I will write the name of the dahlia on this and just take a chunk, tie it to the bottom of the plant. That way when I cut it all back and dig it up, it'll still be attached to the tuber clump. I know it sounds, it's a lot easier than I'm probably making it sound. So let me just show you what I'm doing with this one, and then I'll just work my way down the rows and make it happen. I did manage to start all of my varieties from this west end of the rows and go towards the east, so there's really shouldn't be anything curling around or making its way around from one side to the other. It's all just straight. And I tried to do 10 of every variety that I had available. Some I ended up with more, but I tried to do at least 10 of each so that it was a good even number, easy to find. All right, we already saw that we have the label that says Sweet Natalie. We already found the flower that flowers that coordinated with it to make sure it really was what we said it was. And now I'm just going to write the name. And I'm going to tear off a chunk. Get to the bottom of this plant. find the main stem and just tie it on there. These aren't getting any wider, so you can tie it real tight so that it doesn't come off. And really, that's it. That's all we got to do to several hundred more dahlias. So I'm just going to set up a camera, put in a podcast, and work my way through this. Yeah, after it's all done, I'll just show you what it looks like. And that's it. That's really the goal for today, because anytime in the forecast, like I said, it's getting colder and colder. At any time, we could really have a frost and kill all these plants, and I won't know what they are, which is really unfortunate. There was a couple down the way that somehow got mislabeled, so that's a whole nother reason why I do this. There are some that have bloomed that are not the variety that I thought I was planting in there. So I need to rogue those ones out and only label the plants that I know what they are. Every one of these that's in here, if I can't find a flower, I won't label it. And when I go to dig and store all these, if I haven't labeled it, I'm not going to keep the clump. I have enough of each of these varieties that if I lose a couple of clumps because I can't identify them, that's okay. It's not going to hurt me. It'll just be, it's just another tool to verify that I really have what I think that I have, and I don't have anything mixed up, because I do sell tubers at the market in the spring, and I don't want to sell somebody a cafe au lait if it's really a sun-kissed or something similar to that. That's the goal of this. Okay, set up the camera and let's get after it. Okay, everything out in the field has been labeled, and I'll show you that in just a minute. But I want to show you over here, this is where all of the dahlias that I grew from seed this last year, where they all are. So out of everything that we grew, some of them were really beautiful. I mean, they're all beautiful, but some are worth keeping in my opinion. Some are not. I don't generally grow these to sell tubers or anything. I grow them for myself, and if I like them in the landscape. There was a lot of this one's really pretty. Lots of great varieties that came out, but I think there's only one or two that I actually want to keep. This is one of them. It's hard to tell on this, but it has a little bit of that labyrinth coloring. There's a really pretty edge of that sort of mauve-y pink along with the yellow. And it's so pretty. So this one I want to keep, and I was looking at this one, but I think maybe it's just this one. It's such a good one. The stems are pretty sturdy, the size is good, and I just love the coloring. So this one I think I'm going to save. I don't think any of the rest of them, as nice as they are, that I'm going to keep. I'll end up digging these all out when I dig the rest of them. out of the field, and I just won't keep these tubers. But this one right here, I'm going to try and save. Sometimes the tubers save well, sometimes they don't. It's all just a guessing game until we get some experience with this flower. So the way I label and save them is that I start with it's just a number. This one will be 2501. That's just because it grew in 2025 and it's the first one that I decided I wanted to keep. In this case, it's the only one, but it's the first one. So I'll do the same kind of labeling, just write it on here, wrap it around the base of the plant, and that's it. This coming season, I'll do the same thing. I'll put the experimental dahlias, the seed-grown dahlias, in the same spot next year, and we'll see what we get from the seeds we took earlier. And that's it. Okay, let's go look at the field. I'll show you what that looks like and wrap this up. We do still have some pretty zinnias. Not for long though. Okay. You can see all the pink tape down throughout the dahlia patch. So everything in here that's going to be saved is labeled. Isn't this so pretty? This one's bracken rose. Okay, so this has been a really productive day. This did take me a few hours to get through, but it's worth it. It's done. We can freeze and I won't have to worry about not knowing what flowers I have. So yeah, it's been productive. We got the seeds saved. We got the dahlias labeled. The sun actually came out, which is surprising. And this chore is done. All right, guys, that's going to do it for this video. Thanks so much for watching. If you have any other ideas on how a better way to do this, or whatever your method is, I'd love to hear about it in the comments. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye.